Hey, welcome, David. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you, Rob?
Really well. So you're from the UK?
Yeah, from a couple of miles away from Liverpool in the UK.
Oh, nice. How did
Yeah,
you
we're
hear about me?
at YouTube.
Okay.
I basically typed into YouTube effortless being, and obviously you came up.
That's
So
great. I love it. What made you
yeah,
type in effortless being?
I think it was watching David Bingham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so watching some of his videos, and then yeah, typed it in, and then I watched a couple of yours as well.
What resonated on the videos?
I think on your videos it was. I kind of had a realization a few years ago, and then it kind of lasted as like a bit of peace, and then all of a sudden the mind come back in, and it was like back with a vengeance.
Mhm.
So I then discovered David Bingham and started watching some of his videos, and there was one particular one that I watched where he said something like, somewhat one of the people on the call said, it doesn't matter if you're aware of a busy mind or a quiet mind, you're still the awareness of it. So the
That's
mind
true.
doesn't need to be quiet. And I kind of was like, oh, I was like waiting for silence, basically.
Oh, so your expectation of what self-realization was, you thought the mind would just go quiet.
Yeah. And then obviously I watched a couple more, and I don't know, I've always kind of seen things or understood them from a very literal point of view.
I
It's just
see.
the way I've always been. So when I heard David Bingham saying stuff like, invitations, I was like, again, I was a bit like, well, what does he mean, invitations? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And then I watched one of yours where you said invitations into personalization. And then again, that was like another thing that I was like, oh yeah, it might be obvious to some people, but to me it wasn't. Um, so there was things like that, and then I like the Santa Claus's thoughts as well that I heard you say once on one of
Yeah,
the videos, because I thought that that resonates. Like, you don't have to believe them; they're just
yeah.
thoughts.
They're just
Yeah,
thoughts passing by innocently.
yeah,
And then you're empowered. You get to choose, hey, do I want to believe in this thought? Or as David would say, do you want to go on that ride? And then you think of
yeah,
it's up to you. You're empowered.
yeah. I think the thing is though, when you're kind of unconscious to them, so you're being ran by them unconsciously,
Mhm.
then you don't really have a choice at that time,
Right.
because you go down, the thought comes in, you personalize it without even being aware of it, and well, you're aware of it, but there's not like a gap between it, so that you go straight down the rabbit hole and it sucks you in,
Yeah, then
basically.
you're already on the ride. You're like, wait a second, I've already accepted this invitation. I'm on the ride. So then
Yeah, and
the ride plays out, and then you're right back where you started.
yeah, that's it. And like, I've had years of that really since the first kind of a, a long time seeking, by the way, for
Oh, are you? Yeah,
then.
tell me your seeking story, just so I have some context.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, how far back do you want me to go? Go just the beginning of seeking, basically.
Yeah, what made you start seeking?
Basically, it was due to addiction. So I went to AA basically,
Okay.
in a real mess. Well, I actually went to rehab first, and that was about 13 years ago. Um, and obviously the AA program like promotes finding a higher power and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And a lot of the stuff there resonated with me and kind of put me on the path of spirituality, basically. Um, but then again, as time went on, that just felt like another belief system, with a bit more dogma, and it was a a good step in the right direction, and it was a better belief system that kind of offered less suffering, but it was still like, it still felt very contracted. And I've always kind of been like that, even as a kid. In school, I actually found school like a prison. Um, I like other kids would just get along with it and do as they were told, but I just was like, why are the teachers, teaching us this, that, and the other when they don't even know what they are? Like, why is no one interested in what we are?
Yeah.
And it really shocked me at that time. And then I think that's basically where, everything kind of stemmed from there is, you know, I kind of rebelled externally as a kid and then got expelled from school. And then after being like beaten down by the world and cast out, I kind of then turned that rebellion inward and started like rebelling against myself and kind of um, you know, basically what's the word? Kind of going against my own truth and intuition,
Yeah.
um, which I already knew in the first place. And at the end of the day, you can't not be what you already are. So
Yeah, you're already that already.
and I think that's the kicker. So then I went on this incredibly long journey of going through every single possible spiritual teaching I could find, doing plant medicines and like everything I could possibly think of under the sun. And then I typed something into Google once about I think it was towards the end of 2023, and I can't even remember what it was. It was just another question because the mind just loves throwing questions out there one after the other.
Yeah.
And in that I read, oh, um, you should try reading this book, and it was Awakening to the Natural State by John Wheeler,
Yeah.
and I read a paragraph in that basically, and it was called Enlightenment in the Future.
Uh-huh.
And something just clicked, and I was sat there watching the TV at the same time, and I just started laughing basically. It was like, you've got to be kidding me. You know, this whole time of looking and all the pain and suffering and mental
Yeah.
chewing gum, and then it turns out, oh right, it's what's looking.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah.
So where are you at now with self-realization?
Yeah, so I think back then it's kind of been I'll call it on and off, even though I know it can't be on and off, but the mind still managed to suck me back into personalization
Uh-huh.
on and off. And then, went through a period of then going like a bit radical on it. So to the point where I was like denying the world and denying the appearance of separation,
Hmm.
which still appears,
Yeah.
you know,
We're still having the
to,
human experience, right?
yeah. So it got to the point of like almost, you know, thinking that nothing matters and which in one respect it doesn't, but at the same time it still appears to.
Yes.
But I think I got stuck in like it was all thoughts,
Yes.
but thoughts that were really strong. It's like, well, if there's no one here and there's nothing to do and there's no point in any of it, then why am I here? That
Yeah.
kind of thing. And
I
it and
get
it
it.
was it turned very negative actually. It was actually probably the most mental suffering after realization
Mm.
than that. And then I suppose it's still been a process on a mind level of awareness, being aware of beliefs that aren't true. You
Hmm.
know, I think the biggest belief that has broken is the fact that like I need to become something because I already am.
Right. You already are. It's already the case.
Yeah. So
So you do see that. You see that it's already the case. It's already just this that's always been here, this underlying piece that's underneath everything. So you do recognize that.
yeah,
So if I were to say to you, what are you? What would you say?
the underlying awareness that everything appears. But even beyond that, actually, is what I'd say. I'd actually say it's even beyond awareness. It's nothing. And again, it's very difficult for me to say. say
Right,
what
yeah,
nothing
because
is.
it's almost like it goes
Because
beyond language at a certain point, like language can't even describe it. And something you
yeah,
said resonated with me when you were talking about when you first, when you started seeking and then you recognized what this was, that this was this underlying piece or this underlying awareness, or these are all pointers in your direct experience. And then you said you kind of got involved with the radical, saying like there's no one here, there's nothing here. And then I see that with people that I talk to that are self-realized, what happens is they just think they're this separate person, this separate individual, and everything's happening to them and they're just this person going out in the world, but they don't realize that they are way more than the body. They're this, open space of beingness where the person is going. And then when they awaken or they recognize, wait a second, I'm not just this person. I'm this pristine, infinite being, this open space of beingness, and I've been that the whole time. And yet I was identified with these thoughts, saying that I was this separate person, this string of thoughts that built up this character, you know, that was running around the world. And I only thought I was that, and I thought I was so limited. I didn't realize I was this. And so then you're just recognizing yourself as the pristine infinite being, as awareness. And it's almost like, well, there's no person here. So you've seen that. There's no person here. But almost like you would it's almost like people, what they're doing is they're ignoring, well, they're still having the human experience, the human experience is still there. So we want to love and honor the human experience and then take, that knowing, that conviction that of being the infinite being, and then putting that into or integrating that into the human experience, whereas it's just one.
yeah, because yeah, I completely get it. It's only actually been the last couple of weeks that I've kind of noticed that was even happening.
Yeah.
And I think, it's oneness doesn't exclude anything, does it?
No, it's all one. So even I mean, let's face it, we recognized our true nature. We know we're the infinite being having a human experience. But look, there's still a body here,
Yeah.
there's still a world out here, there's still going to work, there's still having relationships, there's still running businesses or whatever it is that we're doing. Life is still happening here. We can't deny that,
Yeah.
right? And there's still feelings coming up, there's still emotions coming up. The character might still be going through life, identifying with things, but we're always remaining as the pristine, infinite being that's already whole and complete. But yet, that knowing is we're still having that human experience. So we still want to honor whatever feelings or thoughts or emotions or life experiences that are happening, But when we know it from being our true nature, it makes the human experience, more fun. It's almost like you can become more intentional with the human experience.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. Um, I wouldn't say it's been fully intentional.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think another thing that's happened is the mind kind of grabbed the awakening, well, the so-called awakening, but it kind of grabbed it and turned it into, oh, I know that there's no one in here and none of you know that. So that really makes me special.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know people get that
Which which
spiritual
I know
ego or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, which I know sounds absolutely insane. And again, it wasn't intentional.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just the
no,
way
it's not.
things
Yeah,
it's
it's
just the
just the
way
way it's the way it unfolded, the way it plays out, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, that voice, that's saying that. I mean, it looks like your intuition's very clear. You could recognize that voice, you know, is not you, that that's telling you all that. So it looks like there's some space that's opened up for you where you can recognize that voice is not you. That's just the mind or thoughts saying something. And I think you're at the point now where you recognize that those thoughts are not personal, to a that you recognize they're just innocent thoughts. It's just a thought. It's not really a big deal. If like somebody called you up on the phone that you didn't know and just said, I'm never going to talk to you again. You'd be like, okay, whatever. But if it's somebody close to you, then you might have an emotional reaction to it. But it's the same way with these thoughts. If we can just view them as just someone calling up on the phone, like, that we don't even know, saying I'm never going to talk to you. Okay, whatever. Like you said, Santa Claus thoughts, like it has no impact on
Well,
my life. But if you can see it
another
that way, have that
another thing
perspective.
another thing that you actually said, which you've just said again, then that reminded me, is innocent thoughts. And when I heard you say that, that really helped because it was almost as if the mind was at war with itself, trying to get rid of its own thoughts.
Right.
It was like thoughts fighting each other. Like a thought had come up, and then instead of just it being an innocent thought drifting by, it was like I shouldn't be having this thought. That thought isn't what somebody who's self-realized would have.
Yeah, it's almost like
Go
the
away.
thoughts are fighting with each other.
Yeah, yeah, and it's exhausting, you know.
Yeah. It's not effortless being, is it? It's more,
No, well, that's the other point is it's funny how someone saying effortless being makes you think. Well, the mind straight away goes to what do I have to do it? And it's like, well, it's effortless. So it's
it's,
not
yeah, if
gonna.
it's effortless, there's nothing to do. It's your natural state.
But it's so easy to like miss. Well, the mind just misses it all.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's because the mind's a clear
You can
image.
laugh at it though, but you know what? It's okay for the thoughts to be there though, and that's where we want to get to the place where, it's no big deal. It's okay. Thoughts can be there, feelings can be there. They don't need to be personal. They're innocent. They're just going by. It's almost like you're the sky and the clouds. I'm sure you've heard that. The clouds are like the thoughts going by. It's not like the sky reaches down and tries to control the clouds. It just lovingly lets it pass by in this open permanent space that you are, the open space of beingness or consciousness. So I see you as whole and complete already. I love the silence. It's beautiful. It's what our true nature is. It's perfect. Nothing's needed.
It's not a lot to say about it, is there really?
What's to say? It already is.
Yeah. What was your story?
I gotten cancer when I was 18. The doctor diagnosed me with Hodgkin's disease. And so then I started seeking. And I started looking into Eckhart Tolle was the first one that I resonated with. Power Now, I read that, something
Yeah.
resonated. And I was just looking for answers like why is there suffering and that kind of thing. But I was
Yeah.
identified with Rob and his story, you know,
Yeah.
this body. I just thought I was this body. I didn't realize, you know, what I truly was. And then I thought, okay, maybe I was in victim consciousness, like, why is this happening to me? And then I heard Rhonda Byrne came out with The Secret, which talked about manifesting and how you can create your own reality. And that message sounded very empowering. Like, oh, wait, I can actually create the reality I want. I don't have to, there's something better here that I can actually have influence over. It's not just happening to me. So that appealed to me. But then I found out that that really wasn't it. That didn't really work. And then she came out with a second book called The Greatest Secret, and that's where I heard David Bingham say, "You're the infinite being having a human experience." And up until that time, I didn't realize that. I always thought I was just like, the person. There was nothing else. But at that moment, I realized, well, it's a human experience because I always knew I was having this is real, like the human body or the human experience is real. So when he said that, I was like, oh, wait, somebody's acknowledging the human experience is real. But yet he said, you're the infinite being. It was almost like I remembered, wait a second. You're right. I've been here the whole time, and I just started questioning, well, this beingness that's here, this aliveness that's here. I just started questioning it. I was like, well, does it have a problem? No. Can it get sick? No. Does it need anything? No. Is it personal? No. Was it ever born? No, it's always been here. It's like, oh, it's like an automatic knowingness of that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what is it that knows that? Like, I was always known the whole time. So it's almost like, I just started remembering, oh, well, that's what this is. Okay. I was just had a lot of conditioning and stuff, telling me that I was this broken person and I had to put forth all this effort and striving. But yet, when David said, you're the infinite being, having a human experience, that I was like, wow, I identified immediately and I knew, like, it finally made sense, the reality that I'm in, like, what's really happening. Because up to that point, I was ignorant to that. I didn't know. You know? So that put everything into perspective for me. And then I felt that the suffering and seeking, it kind of dropped away at that point. And then I've just
Yeah.
felt this peace come about. And then I can just remember sitting in my backyard just in peace. Like just I felt at one with everything and there was this peace and it was effortless. It was easy. It was, you can't help but just be. And so I would just be. And the beingness was whole and complete. And yeah, and it really didn't matter what was going on around me. Because I felt like everything was happening within me. and it was kind of like a neutrality. Like I was neutral to whatever could come, and there was no resistance. It was just allowing, and just loved everything that was there. Was so everything is beautiful, and yeah, it was just like almost like a relaxation, like a peace. And then there was this inner conviction that would come up that I would know what I am. So if when thoughts or feelings would come, I could embrace them with love and I would meet them where they're at and I would acknowledge them. And I'd be curious about them. Like, what is this telling me? Like, what is this wanting to say to me? And I would just listen with love. And when I would see it and look at it, then it would just dissipate. And it would always just be this open space of silence or beingness. And I could just see it in my direct experience. And something wanted to express it though. Like something came up and I just found myself naturally expressing it. Next thing you know, I'm talking to people like you, and you know, and and it just unfolds naturally. You know, everything's happening. Just it's just happening, and infinite intelligence is behind the scenes, running, doing everything, and there's really no do. And I also sense that there's no doer here. Like it's just because there really is no, as we know, there's no separate person. You can't see one here. It's just everything. When I look right here in this moment, everything's whole and complete and fine. There's all is well, like, you know, and everything's welcome and allowed to come and go. And I see it in love and I see the human character in love. And when I see people, I see everyone as whole and complete, even if consciousness is playing a game, you know, it's okay. They can play the consciousness can do what it wants. And there's an okayness with everything that's happening. There's an underlying peace that's always the stillness that's always here. And so there's just like that knowingness now. So there's that freedom. It's almost like a freedom for no reason or something. Or how is this integrated into your everyday life? Has anything changed since you realized your true nature? Yeah, bit more of a
destructive process, really. Um, from a work point of view, just what I've been doing really wasn't really aligned. It just didn't, it was like trying to get somewhere, trying to force things. And I feel like, the majority of my life I've tried to force everything.
yeah.
Um, and I've always got just nearly to what I wanted to get to, and then it's like the door got slammed shut, and then that's just been like a recurring pattern almost. And you know, one of the strong beliefs that was held was a lack of worthiness, and that I needed to be given something by someone else if they deemed that I was worthy.
Mhm.
Um, which since kind of seeing that that's not, it's a
Right.
bit ridiculous. It's a bit ridiculous, really,
Yeah,
because
it really is. Now you can
yeah,
see it. Yeah.
it's funny, but at the same time, I mean, at the noticing the patterns and beliefs that were deeply ingrained, that even felt painful to let go of because an identity was built around them.
Sure.
It felt like death, really, and death of being a victim. I mean, that was, uh, you know, painful because there was a part of the character that liked being a victim, and it was hard. It's like a hard thing to get your head around, isn't it? Why would you want to be? But it's,
Yeah.
at least you can then blame the other, you know, the apparent other. It's um, but I think then it also like a lot of anger come up, like a lot of anger, that had been held in and seen basically. It wasn't necessarily expressed, but it was felt, and a lot of it was to do with I think first seeing the beliefs that have caused all the suffering again. They went back into not victim mode, but it was kind of like almost like a bit of rage because I thought, these were never, these have been installed,
Right.
um, seemingly deliberately. And I think, you know, that, um, that was quite a hard thing to kind of see
Hmm.
that, um, that everything is trying to condition you into personalization
Yeah, it's
in
true.
in duality,
Yeah, it's the way
that
it's set
it,
up.
it doesn't matter what you do, that the invitations keep coming.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and so into it, kind of integrating it into daily life, I think. Um, Even though the personality is not essentially true, and it's always changing. It's drastically changed from when I was younger to a different, completely different person, and I think that was actually something that triggered a bit of intuition when I used to go to AA. Is that one of the things they said there was, a personality change sufficient to bring about recovery from alcoholism. And I thought, well, hang on a minute. If your personality can change, then it's not you.
Right.
Um,
Anything that changes
and
is not you, right?
yeah, pretty much. And the thing is, as well, is that you talking about, that just you knew that being was just impersonal beingness,
Yeah.
just open, not contained within
Hmm.
anything, no edges to it, just
Nope.
boundless
Expansive.
presence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And but I was always very aware of, well, I suppose everyone is always aware of that. It's just I'd given that awareness a name called David.
I know I gave it Rob. It's funny now when
So
you think of it. If
so
we've
it,
always been this, we just gave it a name and then it overlaid on top of it all the limitations and the stories and everything
yeah,
about this. We've overlaid it, but it's always been just this without the stories and all the labels and the conditioning.
yeah. So that thing that you think is you is is not is not and I think a clear thing that again, the mind can be helpful
Yeah,
in
of
in
course.
in things, and you know I think seeing that I didn't even give myself the name, someone else did.
Yeah. Just
Parent
like,
other,
yeah.
give me the name, and then I was told I was a human being, and then
And you believed it, right?
yeah, and then I believed it. Then I was told I had to do this and I had to do that, and then I'd get to this place, and it was always the promise of you know some kind of freedom in the future that never come.
You'd never be
It
right
was
now, right?
yeah, you can never be free in the future. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's only now, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's why that paragraph I read really clicked with me, enlightenment in the future, because when I read that, I already knew that time wasn't was a concept laid on top of the present moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's easy to see because if you take away the past and you take away the future, what's in between the past and the future? It's just
Yeah.
right here.
Well, yeah, I'd even go a step further and say it's not in between them.
Yeah,
It's
I like that
it,
too.
it's not sandwiched between two things.
No,
It's just there is only this.
yeah,
There
that's
isn't
it.
the
That's
others.
it.
The other things are just thoughts and memories, aren't they?
Yeah, they're
Appearing
just
now.
thoughts, memories coming up in this space of beingness, this permanent, unmovable space that you've always been. Everything else is just arising effortlessly in it.
Yeah. I think definitely from this point of view, um, I've spent such a long time trying to conceptualize non-conceptual awareness.
Yeah, how do you do that?
That it's insane. It's
Yeah, that's
absolutely insane.
insanity. Yeah.
It is, and it's not. I laugh at it, but it's been torture.
Yeah, that's a lot of energy you're putting forth, draining your energy. Wow.
Yeah, but
So you at peace now, would you say?
the majority of the time, yeah. I still get hooked. What I've found is that the invitations get more subtle and sophisticated to just edge me. They're not as drastic as they used to be, and then some of them can be so like outrageous that it's just obvious.
And then
You
you
know
could
what I
see
mean? You're
right
like,
through it, right?
what?
You see right
Yeah,
through the invitation.
yeah. But there's still it feels like there's still like residual seeking energy left because of such a long time of
Yeah.
and a long time and a lot of energy seeking,
Well, that's
like a lot
okay.
like whereas it's been like the sole focus of every waking moment for 10 years, it kind of still pops back up like, oh, maybe there's something to find over there, or yeah,
And
maybe
then
it's
when
a
you and then
maybe
when you
and
get conscious of it, you're like, there's nothing to find. It's already here. I already know this.
yeah. I think I've read something that Ramana Maharashi said once, and it was you go from book to book looking through all these books. Why don't you just believe the first one?
I love it. I love it.
And it's true because the answers are just all the same in every single teaching.
Yeah, they're all pointing to the
But
same thing. It's what's already here. It's what you already are
yeah,
without the labels and the stories. It's just like a case of mistaken identity, really. It's just people are just identifying with something that they're not. And it's not really their fault. It's a lot of it's conditioning and the way they're brought up or whatever consciousness is doing. But, even that's a story. It's just always just what's here. And then that's it. And everything else is the stories are overlaid upon it. And, the mind or the thoughts. And people personalize it and, all that kind of stuff. So you kind of see through it now. So it's kind of like a lightness to it. Yeah. Compassion and it's okay. Yeah. So you're working now, then you say you've been integrating it into work?
no, I'm not actually at the minute. I've just recently stopped what I was doing um, last week actually, just because I was being messed about and lied to a little bit, and doesn't sit right these days, especially when you tend to be able to see through things a lot easier,
Oh yeah.
and it actually becomes a bit frustrating actually because it's easier to believe lies
Yeah, right.
than than to see the dishonesty. But I suppose that's a story as well. So
That is a
you
story.
can't win.
Yeah. There's nobody here to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you expressing this to other people, this self-realization or do you tell your story to people or anything
No,
like
no,
this?
this is the first time I've ever spoke to anyone, and I just I watched. I think it was yesterday, the most recent mirror session you did, and about halfway through it, I just went on your website and booked it. There wasn't really any thought to it particularly, or any. There
Yeah.
wasn't really like an agenda or
You just
anything. I've
resonated.
just
You just resonated with it. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, no, I've never spoke to anyone about it really because well, I've tried to a couple of people and stuff, and they just still think you're a nutter.
What'd they say?
They think you're a nutter.
A nut?
Yeah, like
No,
a crackpot.
they'd understand you.
Yeah. But I mean,
That's okay.
like talking to, my wife or
Yeah.
anyone else, I mean, God bless her. She's listened to my spiritual ego. I feel sorry for her.
Oh no. She must really love you.
Yeah, she must. Yeah. Yeah, funny.
Do you have any kids or?
Yeah, I've got two.
Oh, nice. I got
So,
three girls.
how have you?
They're all older, all like 19, 20, 27. How about you?
God. Yeah, mine's I've got two boys and 9 months and 2.5.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They changed a lot coming
Sure.
along. In fact, like the firstborn, when I held him when he was about 5 days old, downstairs on the couch, I was absolutely exhausted, and I just looked into his eyes and just um again, it wasn't there was no words. It was just um vastness. Like
Love that.
just
Love that.
yeah, just like, you know. Um they remind you, actually, children, of the truth
Definitely.
before conditioning.
Yeah, because that's how we all work. We're all, that infinite consciousness, that beingness without the conditioning, the pure beingness, and then the conditioning comes in later. So when you look into a baby's eyes, before the conditioning, it's just pure awareness, unconditioned, pure, beautiful.
Awareness.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So did you do this full time?
Yeah, I was in the corporate world for a long time. And then after I had this realization, um, and I had spoken with David, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, you recognize your true nature," um, and then something in me wanted to express this. So I had made a YouTube video, and then I had sent it um, over to him, and he's like, "Oh, this is good, and it could benefit some people." He sent it around, and then I started. He's like, "Oh, if you make any more, let me know." And so I started making more, and then people started contacting me, and stuff like that, and then before you know it, I started writing books about what this is, and then I started doing miracles, and next thing you know, I'm doing it like full time. Like it just all happened, effortlessly, and then I'm helping other people express this too, and try to, if that's what they want to do, there are definitely opportunities, to do that because a lot of people are still seeking and want to know what this is, and yeah, it's fulfilling, of course, when you talk about this with others, and um, yeah. So I don't know where you're at. Is that something that interests you?
Yeah, I mean, it always kind of has, but I don't know whether that's just. I think my honest answer to that is not to. I'm not really intuitively feeling to plan anything, basically. So maybe not. I mean,
Yeah,
I haven't got an intention to at the minute, but I'm not closed off to it either.
you're still open. You're not. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think after obviously all the seeking and then a life of trying to make it in the world, shall we say, as well, and trying to,
it's exhausting. It's
struggle,
exhausting,
and
right? It's
yeah, and
exhausting.
just be so exhausted,
Yeah,
and then finally realizing that, you know, um, I don't need to become anything, and I don't mean that by saying that I'm going to refuse doing what comes along, but
yeah,
because that's still doing something, but
yeah,
just kind of go with the flow and
yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah, go with the flow, follow your intuition. If it feels easy and light, follow that. But if it feels like striving or hard work, then back off. That's not your coming from your true nature, because our true nature is easy, it's effortless, it's light, it's fun. It could be inspired action might come along, something that, and it's funny the way we act, the action comes along is like it almost like you're just going to do it anyway. You know what I mean? Like you'll be so inspired, you can't help but act. You know what I'm saying? Like consciousness or whatever, it'll just come through to you and you'll just do it like automatically. Like looking back on, you know, how life has changed in from the human experience. Yeah, it's been kind of drastic if you look at like where it was and where it is now. And there's no way that a personal person could have planned any of that. It's just like it's whatever wants to come through, comes through. And it's almost like it's just happening and it just comes through in a strong way and you're just inspired to move and then you just move. When you know, and you know what I'm saying? Like you know what you got to do. Like, but at the same time, you recognize that there's no doer here doing it. So,
Yeah,
it's just
and
flowing through.
I think as well that there never was. Is it?
Never was. Yeah, there never was. Like we like
I
to say
think
that there's nothing we were doing. This was all just happening.
it's not like you lose the doer.
Yeah.
There was never one there in the
Because
first
yeah,
place.
how can you lose something that was never there?
Yeah, exactly.
How does that
Exactly.
happen?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's fun.
that's
It's funny, isn't it, that actually, and it's because a lot of this stuff, and then I understand why, and even from a personal point of view, all the suffering that goes along with the journey and the seeking and stuff. Um, but it's all really quite light-hearted, really, and it's just a bit of a joke.
it really is.
But we all take it so seriously, and
I
it's like,
know.
I mean, I think even like the punchline of, you know, you've done all this searching, and then oh, what you were looking for, you already are,
Yeah, that
and
sums it up right there.
yeah, and it was all a complete waste of time, even though I know it was in one respect,
Yeah.
but it's a bit of a joke, isn't it, really? And
Yeah, that's why we're laughing because it's
you can't help but just
yeah, it's like I was going through all this striving and searching and like and
yeah,
if I would just to turn around and be like, oh wait,
you're the
I have what I'm
punchline, but
looking for. This is what I'm looking for. It's just this right here.
yeah.
So simple, but yet at the time it didn't seem that way.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem very exciting, does it, either for the mind?
Ordinary.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, at first, but it's ordinary, but it's not as well. It's there's depth to it.
Yeah.
There's
Definitely
depth to it
depth.
that,
Yeah.
you know, like there's a beauty and like a warmth in it.
Mm, yes.
And it doesn't show straight away. So that's why I think even from like from this experience, the the depth doesn't show straight away, so it's dismissed
Mm,
because it almost flowers, starts to flower, and then it becomes, you know, peace that passeth understanding.
yes. The peace that surpasses understand.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You expressed that beautifully.
There's no one here, so
There's no idea. There's no you to say it, right? It's like
no.
mirrors mirroring each other. Yeah.
I think I think the first kind of I know it's only an experience in awareness from a personal point of view, but the the actual freedom of that impersonal knowing that you're that impersonal awareness and not the individual does can well for me, but was very pain. It's very hard to describe, isn't it, without using
Language.
words?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it
Words
was
can. Yeah.
but it was like I always picture this. Do you know Kali Maras?
What is it called?
Kali Ma.
No, tell me.
Like it's like a Hindu deity that
Oh,
like is depicted holding up like loads of heads that have been cut off with blood all around the mouth.
oh,
And that's like I don't know, it really resonates with me. Only as a story, not as like, you know, anything serious, but just of like cutting off the layers of illusion basically and the masks that we wear and you know and it can be like I know for a lot of people it isn't, but it, from this perspective it was brutal. Because in fact the original reason for seeking was one to end suffering,
right,
but two it was for an expansion of ego, not it was because I wanted to become better and bigger and better
right.
than everyone else. So the
Mm.
actual the actual intention for it all was the opposite of what you get.
Yeah, that's what makes it funny.
Yeah. Funny.
Would you say the suffering has ended now for you?
I'd say it's yeah, I'd say the majority of it and not completely. Um I'd say when the suffering if I'd say that it almost seems even heavier the suffering if it comes in.
Because you're more sensitive to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a deeper suffering, but at the same time, you know, there's a lightness behind it, so it doesn't really
Yeah.
it's not drastic, if you know what I mean, even though it
Yeah.
can feel heavy. It's because you know intuitively underlying that it's not serious and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, because what you are is whole and complete and not suffering, and it's impersonal. But yet you recognize there's still the human experience and doing its thing. And it's like you have compassion for the so-called character in the human experience, because the human experience is still real. It's still a body here. It's still doing things. So there's the compassion for it.
I think that's the thing. I think um, it can easily turn into there isn't compassion for the character and you're trying to delete it. And
Right.
that's
Hmm.
and that's the path that I went down is like
Yeah.
trying to delete the personal self.
Yeah.
And that just caused so much
Turmoil.
more suffering than
Yeah.
anything. And I think words can be misinterpreted, don't they?
Oh,
And
all the
that's
time.
because
Yeah. It's almost like the silence that we had on the call was the best teaching, because
yeah,
that's what we truly are, is right there in the silence, whole, complete, without the words, without any distortions. Because it depends, if somebody is watching this video, they could, take a different word of, awakening or consciousness or suffering. Like there's all these things that come to people's minds that could be different to different people. So then, things can get lost in the meaning of what it is.
I think the biggest kind of lesson that out of it that I've got is not to believe anything.
Yep.
And unless you know it in your direct experience,
Perfect.
it's just another belief.
Yep.
And and the reason I say that is because again, I took on non-duality as a completely new belief system
Yep.
and believed it as so then I was walking around and then there was loops of thoughts, you know, going, oh, I am not the body, I am not the mind. Who is it that's in here? Well, if there's no one in here, then
Yeah.
you know, what's the point in it all? And then and just that on like constant repeat almost because I'd digested so much non-dual, you
Yeah.
know,
It's almost like that becomes
concept.
your new identity or something.
Yeah, and it's a much more painful identity
Great. Yeah.
than just, believing you're a separate person and
Yeah.
and and not even giving it a second thought. It's It's
Yeah, I like
just
what you
another.
said. Just like, don't have any beliefs. And if you take away language and you take away beliefs, it's just what you are here. That there is your true nature.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know at the minute, but you know, seeing through, I think when you pull the plug on the belief in the character, then the other beliefs go down the drain with it, really, or start to. And
Yeah,
that's
because
kind of been my experience. And that, it depending on what the beliefs are, it can be quite a painful process. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be.
right.
It doesn't have to be. I think again, because the reason it was like that here is because one of the beliefs I had was that to be peaceful, free, and whole, you had to suffer.
That
Like
was a belief. Yeah. Yeah.
to get anything or get anywhere, or not that there's anywhere to get, but to to find anything or whatever, you must have to suffer. And it's just not true. That's just another belief.
Yep. Just another belief. Are you glad you saw through that belief? There's probably some
Yeah.
relief you had.
Yeah. And then part of me's thinking, well, can you play with these beliefs now? You don't obviously you're never going to concrete believe them, but can you make up your own beliefs now that are, for instance, you know, it's not necessarily a belief, but I don't have to become anything. You don't need, there's no such thing as earning money. You don't need to earn it.
Right.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I do. You don't have to earn it. No, there's nothing to earn.
Yeah, exactly. And
You're
in
already
fact,
whole. Go
it's
ahead.
funny, isn't it? Because I think the wanting and the desire is basically just saying, you're just screaming out, I lack it.
Yeah,
And
because you're saying you don't have it already. That you're saying that you're not whole and complete. If you have a desire or a want, you're saying that you're in lack, that you don't have it, that it's separate from you, and there is no separation. There is no lack. You are abundant, you're whole, and you're complete already. That's my direct experience.
yeah, I think the thing from my side is kind of the things that you think you want. That's not really what you're desiring anyway.
Yeah.
What you're desiring is to feel whole and complete.
Yeah, that's it. You think that
Uh,
that house, that relationship, that money, that career, that job is going to make you happy, that somehow that happiness is outside you, but the happiness is inside you. The happiness is you, is feeling whole and
Yeah,
complete and realizing that it's you that you're looking for and what you are is whole and complete.
yeah, exactly. But don't get me wrong, it'd still be cool.
Yeah. No, it's fun. We're still here to have the human experience and have fun with it.
Yeah,
Why not? You can have fun experiences. That's what we're here. That's why we still have this body, is in this world is here and this life experience is still happening. So you might as well make it fun and enjoyable and abundant. Why not?
yeah,
Go for it. Have fun with it. I think that's a good place to end. What do you think? You have anything else?
no, I think that's it. Yeah, that's good.
Well, I'm always here if you want to chat.
It is. Appreciate it.
It was really nice chatting with you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed the silence.
Yeah. That was my favorite part. I really felt
Still
like
got
I feel like we were connected like as one like we were connecting or something. Like there was felt like the oneness, the expansion, the consciousness, silence of it. I don't know, it was just very, you know, calming and peaceful, like our true nature. It's
yeah,
almost like the transmission or the something, the field, the field of beingness, unity consciousness.
yeah.
Is it okay if I use this video on my YouTube channel?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, maybe someone listening may benefit from hearing something.
Yeah,
You never know how consciousness works.
yeah. Sure. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful meeting you, and stay in touch. You got my email, so
Yeah, will do.
all right.
All right. Cheers, Rob.
Much love, much joy.
See you, mate.
Thank
Bye.
you.